Welcome to the Real Retirees of New Jersey, powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors.
Income is the outcome that matters most in retirement. Let me repeat that. Income is the outcome that matters most in retirement.
Randy and Peggy Fisher want to help you retire once and retire right.
Welcome out to the Real Retirees of New Jersey podcast, all powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. Peggy Fisher is here. Randy Fisher is here. The phone number is 908-844-8337. The website is therealretireesofnewjersey.com. You can find all of that here in the show notes. My name is Mark Owens, and we're doing like a multi-part series about having the best 2026 ever. A couple of weeks ago, we said we set goals, not resolutions. Well, Randy, I have a goal for you today.
Uh-oh.
I have my list of Randyisms, and you just heard one coming in right there. It's my all-time favorite. Income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement.
That's the truth.
I steal that. I think I've told you. I use that all the time, and I 100% do not give you credit for it.
Well, it's only the start of 2026. I'm sure I can come up with 12 more.
Yes, at least.
I was going to say by the end of this show.
No, I can't think that
But
fast.
you don't know you're doing it, though.
True.
Here's some other ones. Your portfolio, never as bad as you think, but may not be as good as you hope.
Yes.
That's a fact.
The 5 Ps. Prior planning prevents poor performance. It could be the 6 Ps.
Piss poor performance?
There it is.
That's really what it is, but I kind of toned it down.
You can't on the podcast. The beat button gets a workout with you guys on the podcast.
We say a lot of other things.
Hope is not a strategy. I like that one. If ants had machine guns, birds would be scared. I don't know how we related that to retirement planning, but some way, somehow.
But we did.
And
if is not a strategy, right?
If is not, hope is not a strategy.
Hope is not.
If's not a strategy either. You have to have some type of probability associated with the decisions you're making.
And excuses are for losers.
Losers.
There's a lot of losers out there.
Reach out to the team. You can find it here in the show notes, 908-844-8337 or therealretireesofnewjersey.com. All right, so this week, let's talk about family and friendships. Maybe 2026 is the year you say it's time to cut that person out who's being a strain, either financially or emotionally in our life. And the reason I put this on this list is because we had to do that in the Owens household. We've got an aunt, God love her, she just can't get out of her own way. And it seems like she just goes around the circle to all the cousins, all the nieces, the nephews, the grandparents. And about every 6 weeks, hey, I'm in a tough spot. Can you Venmo me $150, $200? Hey, I'm in a tough spot. Can you Venmo me $75? And it just goes on. And finally, we got to the point where we are cutting you out. You cannot get out of your own damn way, and it's starting to be financially a burden on us. So have you had to have those conversations? And how do you make it less uncomfortable? Because I'll be honest, it really is uncomfortable.
She's panhandling her own family.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that, Randy.
I don't think it's uncommon.
I think it's common. Honestly, I think it's very common.
Yeah, but you know what? Generosity without limits jeopardizes retirement.
Yeah, but
Hold on. There it is. Generosity without limits jeopardizes retirement. I told you you'd give me a Randyism before we got done
Randy,
today.
There it is.
Well, that's a new one, I guess.
Whoop, there it is.
Did you just whoop? There it is, me?
Peggy's going to sleep. She's like sitting over there with her head on her hand.
There it is.
She's like, oh my God, we're talking about what?
1995 called. They want their soundtrack back. Hold on. Generosity without what?
Generosity without limits
Is
jeopardizes retirement.
That's the truth. True that, Randolph.
Well, we've got a lot of clients that we need to be the buffer, the intermediary.
Yes,
we need to be the bad people.
Yes,
right.
And we tell them that.
That's true.
Let us be the bad guys.
I'm not emotionally connected. I could care less.
And that's exactly what it's all about. Emotion.
I can easily say no.
They are emotionally connected. We tell them we are not.
Sorry, I can't do it.
And we always, because they'll say it to us. Oh my God, what should I do? Whatever. And we will simply say, let us be the bad guys.
Just say my financial advisor said I can't do it.
I can't. I don't have it. I don't have it. They won't let me get it. I don't care what you tell them, but that's what's got to go down.
It's good because it helps everything be appropriate.
Yeah, and just like you said, now you're not emotional. Now it's just I'm sorry. The financial planner said I can't. I don't have that money.
It gives you an out.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me flip it then. What about for those that want to help that freeloading family member?
And we have clients like that too. It's really
I mean,
funny.
that's a true statement.
Yeah.
There are people out there that say, I want to help.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's ways to help, and there's right ways to do it, and there's wrong ways to do it. Right. Think about this. If again, we talked about emergency funds before. Now, I'm not telling you have an emergency fund to fund your family, but if you had an emergency fund and an emergency fund popped up, it didn't have to just be your emergency. It could be someone else's emergency.
Yeah, but I think right to a client, and this is, you got to think about this. I had a client who had an annuity, right? And I would say maybe like every year, she would say about this grandson who she obviously felt bad for, and every year, just like you said, would come back to her. Yeah. And I know I would get that phone call, and she would say, I got to help out my grandson, and I'm like, like every year she was doing this. I'm like, that's your retirement money here, right? So we have to be careful with that. And then, we would then have a conversation, and then she would kind of ease off on what the general amount would be on that, as opposed to bigger, went a little smaller. Because I said, don't forget, on the annuity now you're going to be taxed on that. So now it's just not the money, and then also too, this is towards your retirement with your Social Security, so you can pay your bills every month. So then talking again, at least she has a soundboard, and she's like, oh no, wait a minute, you are right. So wait, I'm going to get taxed on that. And wait, that is my money that I'm going to need monthly. All right. So, and then we reduced the amount a little bit because she still felt bad,
When you say yes to everyone else, you're basically saying no to your own retirement, right?
Exactly.
So you're affecting yourself sooner or later.
Right.
And even if you did have it, eventually you don't know when a rainy day for yourself is coming. There's never a good time for an emergency. There's never a good time for a problem. If the market, if your money is in the market and you need to help somebody and the market's up, guess what? You can do it and you can be helpful, right?
But if the market's down,
but if the market's down and you're still wanting to be helpful, then you're hurting yourself on top of it. So, or God forbid, you're taking it out of your own income sources.
Right. That's the thing. Right.
Or you have to take it out of a taxable. I know a number of people that have taken money out of a taxable account to give to somebody else.
Yes.
In order for them to, help them out. But who's paying the bill?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a 28, 22, 30% tax bracket, it's costing you 30% potentially to help the person who's got a problem.
I heard you on the phone call the other day with somebody like that.
Exactly.
And you were like, wait, do you understand if you do take this, not only this now isn't 20,000, this is now turned into, 26,000, right?
Listen, so worst case scenario, you can borrow for weddings, problems, and emergencies.
Yeah.
You can't borrow for your retirement.
No.
Right?
Can't do it.
You can't do it. I mean, if you have the extra discretionary money and you want to do something like
then
that,
go ahead.
And let me say this, we do have a number of clients that are very either philanthropic or they're very gift oriented, but understand that that's part of the plan.
Yes.
That's not a gift wish. It's not a, hey, I'm just going to give Johnny a couple bucks this year.
Right.
It's, we've already planned this stuff in. There's gifting limits. There's an amount of money in which you can give that one person's not taxed or the other person's not taxed, and on and on. So there are good ways in order to get money to another person, and then there's bad ways to get money to another person. The bad way is it hurts you in order to get the money to that other person.
And make sure that you realize that, because a lot of those clients too called and said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Blah, 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 blah. And then we talk them through it and
set
say,
boundaries.
Do you understand what this is actually going to cost you? No, I didn't realize that. Right. So that's why it's always good too to have that second opinion or a financial planner who can help you as the sounding board to those crazy quick things. Oh, I got to help somebody, and then you have to think about what you're doing.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Right. And again, we can be the bad guys. Let us be the bad guy.
Peggy loves being a bad guy.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
We do that at our house. So Caroline, our daughter, she's 12.
Go talk to your mother.
Yeah, no, she's exactly, that's almost what it is.
Yes.
She's 12. And she doesn't, and I love her for this. She doesn't want a boyfriend yet because she's still kind of a young 12. And I love it. I'm hanging on this as long as I can.
Hang on, buddy.
Yeah, hang on to this.
Hang on to it.
But she's got like a couple little boys after her at school. And then we say, tell them that you're not allowed to have a boyfriend. Blame it on us.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make it uncomfortable for her.
Exactly.
And so she's like, I'm sorry, my mom and dad won't let me have a boyfriend. I'm sorry. And we're like, yeah. And I tell her she can't have a boyfriend until she's 37.
Be careful. Those are the wild ones go that
Good
way.
luck, buddy.
When you say no, no means yes.
You shut
Coming from Peggy.
Yeah. No, I always remember I went to Catholic school, and all the strict parents who said no, 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 those were the wild girls in Catholic school. The more you told them no, the parents, the wilder they got,
Billy Joel said the Catholic girl started much too soon.
Yeah.
Oh, God, no, you got me all depressed.
Is she a Catholic school girl?
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
she's a good little Christian girl, good
You're
little
fine.
Methodist girl.
Little Methodist
good
country
little
girl.
God's Light choir. She's my little band nerd.
Ooh.
Yeah, which
Sipping brown liquor behind the church.
damn, that's my girl right there. At the
I went
Holy
right to-
Communion.
And here's where mine was going.
Waffle House and brown
One
liquor.
time in band camp.
All right, shut your dirty mouth.
That was for you, Mark.
I will punch you in the neck. All right, let's get
Everybody listening is Googling that phrase right now, and they're like, what
They
the
know it.
hell are they talking
They
about?
know it.
Did you
They
see
know
the
it.
study that a bunch of these, not Gen X, what's younger, like the beta generation?
Z?
Gen Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gen Z.
Gen
Z. Gen Z.
They refuse to watch movies like American Pie and Tropic
Yeah.
Thunder because it's too toxic and it's too problematic and it's too hard to watch in the cultural sensitivity of this year. I'm like, oh, grow up.
But it's the group of horror film people, right? But then they'll go watch all the
Oh,
horror
then they'll go
films.
watch like Terrifier or something like that, the slasher movies. Anyway, so as we're talking about how to make 2026 the best year ever, let's talk about the importance of getting that second opinion. You said it a couple of weeks ago, Randy, that how many times have you talked to somebody that said, man, I wish I would have called you a year ago or even 6 months ago?
True.
So let's talk about the importance of somebody saying, now this is the year I get serious, but I'm working with a big box firm. How do I make that transition?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the big box firm kind of thing, because big box firms hide behind disclosures.
Yes.
Right? So at the bottom of all their paperwork,
I
it
can't
says
give
that
tax
they
information.
don't give tax advice. They don't give Social Security advice.
You go through retirement without having someone give
It's
you
absolutely
tax
impossible.
information.
It is the biggest oxymoron of the entire industry.
It is, honestly.
I
it
don't know
is.
how it happens,
Yes.
because think about two things. If I have an IRA and I take money out, is it taxable?
Yes.
Sure it is.
IRA is,
Well, how does it affect me?
Yes.
Well, the big box firm just says it's taxable. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, to what degree is it taxable?
Can't tell you.
If I don't have any, if I
Big
don't have
box
any,
firm will say I can't tell you that.
if I don't have any other income sources and I take
right.
money out of my IRA,
Yeah.
essentially, although it's taxable, it may not be taxed.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
If I take money out of my IRA, but I'm in the highest tax bracket, then what else does it affect?
Yeah, we've had a lot of new clients this year come
Oh my
on
gosh,
because
ridiculous.
of that.
Because we give
of
tax
that
advice.
exact. Well, even
Right.
just what you just said, Randy. Oh my God, I had this tax situation happen this year.
Yeah.
They didn't prepare me for this tax situation this year.
How about I got a 10? I'll give you a couple others. How about I got a 10? And here's the best one. Market was down and they got a 1099 for a positive return, and they're like, "What? And how did that happen?"
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're investing in mutual funds, right? So in a negative market place, you're not controlling the function of the funds. You're not controlling the portfolio. So the portfolio managers do. So if they have embedded returns that are within that portfolio, even though the market dropped or it looks like you were losing money, which you potentially did from a share price, you got a gain in the portfolio because it's a pass-through. Mutual funds are pass-throughs. You get a 1099 for gains that you weren't even responsible for, but because you own the fund, they have to pass them along to you.
Crazy.
So in addition to your share price losing money during that period of time, you also had to pay taxes on money.
Yeah.
That's called embedded gains or phantom gains. So if you're invested in mutual funds, ladies and gentlemen, they're loaded with fees, costs, charges, but they're also loaded with things that you don't even know affect you into the end.
And going back to the second opinion
Right.
and the X-ray portfolio, that's where we help people, because when we do that and they're like, wait a minute, I'm paying what for those mutual funds? Wait, I'm paying what for these fees? They had no idea that this was going on.
Is your financial advisor truly a financial advisor,
Right.
or do they just are they a financial
Holder of your cash and just,
not even that? Are they a cheerleader?
Yeah.
Right? Because most of those people don't even manage the money themselves anyway.
Right.
They're putting it into a portfolio. The portfolio managers or the funds in which they're using are managing the portfolio.
Yeah.
They're playing golf 3 days a week.
Right. We talk active and passive management, right?
Between
Yeah,
active and passive.
Exactly.
So are they really planning for your retirement, or are they basically just focusing on your investments, right? It's not, are they focusing on taxes? Are they focusing on income? Are they focusing on insurance or withdrawals?
Okay.
Are they focusing on any of those things? How about beneficiary arrangements?
No.
Right?
Big box firms are not helping you do any
Not
of
at
those
all.
things.
So
Absolutely
again,
not.
when you look at a difference between a second opinion is, you may be with a firm that you've been with an advisor for quite some time. Great. Relationships are awesome. Yeah. But what are they doing for you? Right? So that's another thing to ask yourself is, have a conversation with yourself before the year continues to get away. Take an hour or so, sit in a room, no TV, nothing on, put your phone away, and kind of write down some bullet points of, if the year ended today, where would I wish I would be?
Right. Or was I prepared? Right.
Correct.
Yeah,
What should I
exactly.
have? Then the next step to that is, how is that going to happen?
Yeah.
Right. And then who's responsible for those things to happen?
Right.
You, an advisor, the market, wishes, the pigeon out on the windowsill, God, the wind, what's going to make those things come true? Because again, going back to, is it a wish and a resolution, or is it a goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What action is attributable to how you're going to get there?
And back to those wishes, Randy, you also should, and this is the insurance side of me, make sure everything reflects your current wishes, right? So let's go back to something like wills. We talked to so many people this year too who are like, I got to go get a will. And I'm like, yeah, that would be. It's
a good idea.
It's a very simple thing, right?
Dying
Get a will.
intestate's not good.
Make sure all of the beneficiaries are accurate. You talk about the divorce too. We've had clients who
That's a good one.
were divorced, forgot that they had whoever on their as a beneficiary still. And
Good
guess
luck.
what? Yes, like again.
You think that scorned
Yes, right.
wife
Yeah.
is going to basically say, "Oh, I feel bad for you, baby.
Yeah.
You should have that money."
That's not happening. So make sure you look over every year. We always talk to our clients about that. You know, are the beneficiaries still who you would like them to be? You know, make sure that that's all correct.
Exactly.
you
Many
know-
people never, ever, ever look at that.
That's
and
right.
not only from that standpoint of just insurance,
Yeah.
but 401k.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I left a job and there's a 401k
Okay.
there and I just left it there.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. Okay. It's not the smartest thing to do, but you did.
Right.
What is the beneficiary arrangements on there?
Exactly.
Are they just your spouse? Is it your ex-spouse? Do you have children associated on there or not? And believe it or not, between a 401k and an IRA, there are many differences between beneficiary arrangements and what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want certain things to happen and you think it's going to happen, and I'll give you an example in a minute, but you think it's going to happen, but you left it at a 401k, that may not be. I'll give you an example. I have 3 children. Let's say I pass away. I want them to have an opportunity to stretch the money and not have it all at once. I also want them to have the opportunity to take a lump sum if they want to, which would mean that they would be fully taxed at the immediate time. Or by stretching it, they can stretch it over a period of time up to 10 years, taking distributions, right? In a 401k environment, there is no stretching capabilities possible. So let's say if I had one child who was a very big high earner and they did not want to get a lump sum right away, I just added to their Uncle Sam pain.
Yes.
Right? Because I just died and they're going to cry for a long period of time. And then they're going to get a check and the check is going to be taxable and then they're going to cry some more. Where another 2, they're going to want an immediate lump sum so they can go run around in Corvettes and get tattoos and do whatever they want to do.
Talk about our kids, Randy.
So if it's an IRA format, there's many different possibilities and many different things in which you can do as a planner in order to alleviate some of the hurt that's happening through taxation planning.
Another thing is too, healthcare directive, right? I'm thinking about one client right now. Like you always talk about this, right? Where the wife, was in a hospital and she was at the very end. And thank God there was a healthcare directive. She stated that she did not want to be put on life support. So it was a very quick process.
And there was a big
Yeah.
fight between the husband, right? And then 2 children.
Right.
One child was like, pull the plug.
Yeah.
And the other one was like, no.
Yeah.
We want mom around forever.
Right. But now knowing that there's that healthcare directive, I'd say this to everybody. It's so much simpler and easier because, when you're left behind to make those decisions, and then of course you got family who fights over everything. Yes. No, we're not doing this. As long as you have that directive already and it's set in place, this is how it's going to go.
And
That's
ladies
your
and gentlemen,
wish.
when you pass away, someone will fight over it no matter what you say.
Yes.
I don't care if you have the Waltons as your family and you think everything is so hunky dory and beautiful, unicorns are floating through your living room. It ain't going to happen.
That reminds me of another
The
client.
knives come
Another
out.
client we had who was like, "Oh no, me and my sister, we just said everything will be great between the 2 of us." I said, "I'm telling you right
No,
now,
it
when someone dies, all
hell breaks
all
loose.
hell breaks loose." Exactly.
And it's not just the family.
Yeah.
It's then the outlaws, the in-laws,
Yeah.
the grandkids, the special one, the golden child.
Yeah.
the
So
this one, that.
if you have your will,
You
you have your health directives, you have all of these set in place. There's nothing that needs to be.
Well, there's
taken-
less.
Yes,
that's
much
going-
less though.
Much less that's going to be left up to
Yes,
grabs. right?
exactly.
So there's correct. Putting it on paper is one thing, but I know there's a funny commercial I continue to see. They're like talking about, I think there was people working on a car, and it's some kind of antique car, and they're like, well, when I die, this is all yours. And the guy, you hear the record scratch. No, it ain't. That's not the way it works. And it goes through with like a living will kind of thing, or talks about this is the way you need to do it, and it has to be done properly.
Yeah. Right.
But it is true. I mean, it's a funny commercial. I didn't make it funny at all because I made it stupid. But the fact,
I know where you were going with that.
but the fact of the matter is, just think about this: Just because you wrote it down doesn't mean that it's going to happen as well.
Right.
So it literally needs to be legal.
Yes,
it
will
needs to be
or trust.
endorsed.
Yes.
It needs to have some type of an attorney maybe
Yes.
potentially look it over or
Right.
notarization. So just because you think you have something on a piece of paper saying Bobby's going to get this and Susie's going to get that, that's not the way it's really going to work.
And going back to that too, make sure that's updated. Even your wills sometimes need to be updated. You had it going one way, and you might want to have a different way. And it doesn't cost much because everyone goes, "Oh God, it's going to cost me so much to get that." It does not cost a lot to get your will updated.
You mentioned life milestones, that people getting married, this, that, the next thing. Your kid becoming of age, of majority, it should be a milestone. Because within your will, as when they were minors,
Yes.
there probably have some type of area within your will, or you have somebody going to be taking care of them, right? You know, hey, you'll live with Aunt Susie and Uncle John, right? When they become 18, they may hate Aunt Susie and Uncle John, and they're going to live on their own, right? So the fact of the matter is you have that in there, but you never changed it. So now you have, a little bit of a conflict that's going there. When they do become majority, then they do have then responsibilities, or they can then become an executor or an executrix or a custodian or somebody on your accounts or your estate, which again, you may not want to leave all that money to somebody, right? You have the good kid and the bad kid. The one kid spends everything and the other one doesn't spend anything.
Right.
So maybe you want the one that's a little bit more prudent and frugal to be in charge of things, right? But you don't want to have conflict between them. So then you need an intermediary. So all those things are listed in legal documentation within your will and trusts in order to have that. You don't have to be Bill Gates to have an estate plan. Everybody can have an estate plan. All an estate plan means is, when I die, this is what I'd like to happen. And if I become ill, this is what I would like to see happen as well. That's essentially an estate plan. Now you can get elaborate. You can get trusts and everything else that's on top of it. And you can say, I have assets and I want this to pass this way and this to pass that way. There are more efficient ways in order to transfer assets, and certain assets transfer more fluidly by way of trusts or by way of beneficiary arrangements directly. So you got to make sure you got the right things involved, right? A lot of times we're asked the same question is, should I have a basic will and trust? Should I have an irrevocable trust?
Right.
And all they're looking to do there is to avoid probate and to protect their assets against lawsuit liability.
Exactly.
But it means that you still control the asset. When you're in an irrevocable situation, it means that you've literally given the asset away and you no longer gain responsibility for it. Does that mean you can't use it? No, there's side ways of using them. But essentially what you've done is given it away. I'll give you an example of a bad scenario of that. We had somebody with some assets that came across that they're now clients, but they weren't then. They actually set up an irrevocable trust. They put stuff in their son's name, right? So they gave them ownership. That son was a little flamboyant. He actually went out drinking, got into an accident, and wiped out a family.
Guess what?
Guess whose assets are now attached?
Exactly.
The assets in which you gave away to him thinking that you were protecting your assets now became a liability. And guess where those assets went? Down the toilet, right? So you have to make sure you look through again. All the good scenarios are easy to come by. What are the negative consequences to the bad scenarios, and can you live by them? And Peggy mentioned it before. We're essentially looking at those planning events. It's kind of like, we're looking at the worst scenario and saying, if this happens, can you live with this, or what should we do?
Right. And going back to insurance, my insurance brain on that side too. You're just talking about like umbrella policies, things like that, life insurance, all those things that can help you in those times of need.
Yep.
So as we kind of put a bow on this topic of conversation about making 2026 the best year ever, what would be your biggest piece of advice? What is the one goal? We don't make resolutions. What is the one goal that adults should have right now as we get into the new year?
Peace of mind and retirement. That's where I'm going this year.
Yeah.
Peace of mind. Because if you have that, you are spiritually, financially, every which way. If you have the peace of mind, you did things correctly in the way that you needed to do it. That's what it's going to be about this year. Peace of mind.
What about you, Randy?
I'm going to go to written documentation.
Okay.
And, we live in a digital world these days, and everything is, I can tape something or send a text message to myself as an idea or reminder. But unless you write it down, there's some real good science behind this of writing it, reading it, and speaking it.
Yeah.
It then sets in. So, before February starts to get here or March starts to be impeded upon us because, the quarter starts to get away, What you just need to do is start someplace. Literally get a pad. And even if you don't do it all at once, sit down, think about where you want to be at the end of the year from a couple different standpoints, throw some bullet points down. And then once a week, once a day, once whenever, go in, write a sentence, write a thought, and then follow it up.
And then give us a call after you're done with all of that.
I love when you
please.
say give us a call. But
Give us a call.
You know, do you need us? No one needs anyone. But if you want some help, we're always here. But the fact is, if you don't get started, you're going to be in the same place as you were last year, and you're going to be in the same place as you were the year before, and the year before, and the year before. So it's really get started from someplace, but literally put it down, because a written plan is different than if it's not written, it's a wish list, right? It's a wish list. You know, Peggy's just sitting there smiling.
Because I'm thinking of things that I want on my wish list, Randy, and we're going to write it down.
Well, tell me about that. How about this? We talked about Artemis Wealth Advisors and Liberty Financial Group. What about for you personally? What do you hope to achieve? What are some of your personal goals for 2026?
I got to get more organized this year. I definitely got to get more organized. You know what's
I
funny?
like how she like depressingly said that. I gotta
Yeah, well, no, because I just saw on Facebook, it was funny. It was about when people come to your house, like for an event, right? Like a party or whatever. And they say, hey, can you, in this drawer, is there a fork or is there a knife?
You don't want them to open it.
You don't want them to open it. And somebody put on Facebook is like, you can come to my house, but don't be asking me where forks and knives are, because when you open up my Tupperware drawer and everything goes flying out, I don't want to hear about it. So
Every drawer looks the same.
I will get much more organized this year, Randy. Tupperware drawers will be organized.
We have 32 junk drawers.
Yes. So does everybody else. That's why they put that meme on Facebook.
Peggy, that was me that put it up there.
Yeah, that was you. That's right, Mark Owen. See how we brought this all full circle?
You even
If I was
commented.
allowed on Facebook,
That
I would have saw it.
was amazing, because that is the I had never like that's a truth right there.
If you come over for any type of holiday gathering, just know everything from unread mail to toys and laundry are shoved and hidden in every available nook and cranny,
Yes.
giving the appearance of a clean, tidy house.
Do you love
we are
that?
proud to host, but mind your business and
Don't be asking me for a fork. Can I open this drawer and get your Tupperware?
open
No.
any cabinets.
Stay out of the goddamn cabinets, will you?
And with that said,
Welcome to February.
stay out of the GD cabinets.
Yes.
Let's hit pause. We'll be back next week. Thank you for all this great information. Let's make it. 2026 is going to be our best year ever with the help of the team of Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. That is Peggy Fisher. That is Randy Fisher. You can find all the information here and the show notes. Thanks so much for streaming. This has been The Real Retirees of New Jersey.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Investment advisor services offered through Artemis Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Artemis Wealth Advisors is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Randolph A. Fisher, insurance license number 9616074, and Liberty Financial Group, LLC, and Peggy Fisher, national license number 189-42003 and 570-5833.